Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week, or this bi-weeks? Every other week. This next read-through for The Promised Neverland. This time we're doing chapters 10 through 13, I believe. 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, because we did 6 through 9 last time. So, I'm excited to see where we go from here. We left off with that hide-and-seek game that the kids had with Krone, and I kind of like the way it went that I hadn't thought of before, where they're like, if we know, well, Emma was doing her own thing. She was like, I'm trying to see if I can escape with them while using the kids and stuff. And it actually worked out pretty decently for the most part. So she's learning how to improve on that, which is good. And they brought up splitting into different groups where when they escape, where each group can make up for the weaknesses of each other. But also what Norman and Ray did was find a way to sneak up behind Krone. And they're like, if it's possible for us to do this, though this may just make her more on guard to tell the truth now that she's lost and seen what they're doing, but they think if it's possible for these mamas or sisters or whatever, if it's possible for us to sneak up behind them, it's possible for us to kill them. And that makes so much sense because it buys them the time they need. They need to escape, and it's a dark turn, but killing the mother... Ah, man, all the other kids are not going to be in for that, though, because they haven't seen, they don't know what these monsters are like. And a lot of them probably still love their mom. But if they killed her, then until the monsters realized that she wasn't calling in to report the activity and stuff, I don't know if she has to report in every week or every day, but it would buy them time until they realized that she hasn't reported in. And in that time, they wouldn't be able to track them. And now they know where the trackers are, too. We read that in one of the chapters last time as well. But for this, I'm sorry. I'm reading it on Wednesday, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get the video up until sometime Thursday. Because I had to record 2 videos before this, but I'm going to try to get through as much as I can here. 2 chapters at least, I'm hoping, but I may have to take a break and then come back and read the other 2 chapters later. So, sorry about that. So yeah, I guess that's about it, though. Let's actually get into reading. Is there anything else I was supposed to say? I don't think so. This just might be up Thursday instead of Wednesday, so sorry it's a day late. Yeah. So let's start reading. Also, I forgot, Krone said at the end, so she's getting suspicious, he's like, the 2 to watch out for are Ray and Norman. But I also can't help getting the weird vibe from Emma. Maybe I should watch out for her too. And then she says, and we have a panel showing the chick with the glasses. So either they're gonna, like I said, think that the chick with the glasses is one of them and kill her, and then Emma's group is gonna have to be like, oh shit, she died for our sake. She died because they thought she was one of us. Either that's going to happen, or I noticed that the chapters 10, 11, 12, 13 that I'm about to read, the next 3 after this one are called like Spy Part 1, Spy Part 2, and Spy Part 3. What if the Glasses Girl is actually a spy that the mama has lied to and has been using to keep tabs on Norman, Emma, and Ray? So that could be a bad thing. Because I kept saying they've been showing her a lot and that maybe she's going to have something important happen. And I was thinking that importance was that she was going to be killed for their sake. But now I'm thinking maybe the importance is that she's going to have been a spy and maybe not even know that she was a spy for the bad guy, so to speak. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into reading chapter 10 and see what we get. So this cover looks really nice. I like the color schemes they use. Chapter 10, Control. Okay. The plot quickly picks up its pace, a color spread now to commemorate the great reception of the series and start of the Gracefield escape arc. So this is exciting. This is just the first arc. And I like the big, spiral stair... I don't know what they're called. The artistic spiral staircase stuff where they're going in all sorts of different directions and it doesn't make any logical sense. But I always like those sort of detailed artworks. And we see the 3 main characters. See, I like this, and this could be symbolism that she's a spy. Because look, you have Norman and his group of kids, Emma and hers, Ray and his, and then the one who is, and then it looks like, what's his name, Don? I always call him Dom, I think, down at the bottom. So he's also going to be playing a role, obviously, because he's one of the older ones too, and he's always around the glasses girl. But we see the glasses girl is the only one that's walking downward. She's walking, or not necessarily walking downward, but she's the one that's upside down on these staircases. She's the one that's maybe going the wrong way, so to speak. So it makes you think that that could be symbolism for her being the spy. But either way, it could be a hint given in the covers, because I know occasionally mangaka will do that. Okay, so now we're starting the next chapter. We have Emma at the first panel telling a group of kids to stop, Don with a group of kids, and then his group of kids runs. Alright. The plan advances into the next stage. We see Emma running with a group and Don's group following them. Play tag in teams, and we're getting into a flashback. Yeah, the vast majority of us will die if we try to escape individually, says Ray. Still, I think all of the kids had pretty decent moves. We've also collected some new data. We'll be able to escape if we do so in teams, says Norman. And to do that, we have to train by playing tags in teams, or playing tag in teams as well, says Emma. Smart strategy, obviously. For now, I'm just gonna have to memorize 10 types of team formations. By year? Too hard for you? Nope, piece of cake. Yeah, I'm gonna have you memorize 10 types of team formations. By year? Too hard for you? Nope, piece of cake. We've got to step our game up, she thinks. Let's start arranging these training sessions to make them more applicable in real-life situations, both pre- and post-escape. Also, I'm thinking about letting Don and Gilda in on our plans soon, says Norman. This might not be a good idea. We'll explain the situation, and have them each lead a team. Ooh, this could be bad. So, what about them? Whispers, Ray to Norman, again as they're washing dishes with Crone in the background again. There's only one way. Let's rethink our current plan. You and I will most likely be the ones that'll be able to handle this task, says Ray. It'll probably be too much for Emma and the others to handle psychologically. Well, technically, that does make them saner than us, says Norman. First, we've got to separate those two. Let's incapacitate them one by one, 2 against each. Incapacitate, huh? It'll be harder than going for the kill. I doubt it's impossible to kill her, but it's true that we can't kill those 2 for other reasons. They've made sure to track even us mere cattle. It's not far-fetched at all to say that there's a possibility our caretakers could also be monitored somehow by the demons. Agreed. Okay, so actually that makes sense. Maybe they couldn't just kill them, because what if it would set off some kind of alarm? It's quite likely, even if we weren't to do anything, the demons must have some sort of way to make sure those 2 haven't died unexpectedly due to illness or accident. That makes a lot of sense, actually, true. We'll do everything to achieve our goal. We've got to figure out a way to restrict those 2. Of course, the failsafe they have to make sure they didn't die of accident or something might actually be the call-ins, might be daily. Okay, but Mama is a really terrifying woman. By simply showing us her tracker, she's managed to 1. Threaten us that we can't escape, 2. Bring attention to the trackers that we can't destroy, and 3. Make us aware that we shouldn't even dare to kill the adults. With a single move, she's restrained us in so many ways. Okay. At a first glance, she's made the grave mistake of revealing her trump card, but in reality, she knew we'd definitely be breaking our heads over this one. After all, she raised us this way. On the other hand, she wouldn't have to be so careful if we weren't the kind to stay low and firm in our shoes. Will we be able to sneak up on her? Well, either way, we've learned a lot about Mama over these past 10 days. What do you mean? Says Emma. Hold on. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't miss anything. What do you mean? Says Emma. In a nutshell, and see, we have the glasses girl looking back towards the direction. I don't know. Don't trust her. What's her name? Gilda? I don't know. In a nutshell, Mama already knows that we are the targets. To be more precise, I think she already figured out that Ray has joined us too. Figured out. Or not guesses or suspects? Exactly. Why do you think so? There's many reasons, but the easiest one to explain is how she utilizes Sister Crone. if she couldn't identify us as the targets but had the intention to find us, there's no way she wouldn't mark the oldest 5 children, if she couldn't identify us as the targets but had the intention to find us, there's no way she wouldn't mark the oldest 5 children of us, those who were already suspicious from the start. But in reality, she's making Sister Crone watch over all of us kids, just to have another pair of eyes making sure we aren't doing anything strange as a whole. Oh, sorry, I hit my hand on my computer. Hope that wasn't too loud in the mic. If it is, I'll edit it out. It only bugged me a little at first, but this has been continuing for over 10 days now. Mom isn't putting any effort into weeding us out, and she's even letting us do as we please. Strange, isn't it? Yeah. But if she knew who we were from the start, her actions near the beginning make no sense. Right, says Norman. Mama wanted to weed us out at first, but she has no intention of doing so anymore. Is that because she already finished weeding us out? But how? She can't draw any conclusions from just the tracker signals, and why would she let us do as we please if she already knows who we are? Because she already has her own method of monitoring us, says Ray. Pretty sure that's what Norman's trying to say. She has no need for Sister Crone to mark us 5 in particular. And then we see flashes of the kids playing. In other words, it's highly likely that there's a mole among us children. Ah, see, totally makes sense, and Glasses Girl is totally it. Because again, we see all these children playing and stuff, and you notice each one of them is facing forward where we can see their face, except Gilda, who's facing away from the shot. It's totally her. And again, I'm not trying to sound super smart by saying, oh, it's totally her. I'm saying it in more of a way of, I feel like the hints have been given to us there. A snitch, or something like a spy. We can't jump to conclusions, though, says Norman. It's completely possible that one of the kids is just unknowingly leaking data into Mama's side. To be exact, Mama has another personal source. See, I like this so much because the series is constantly bringing in things I didn't expect from it. Mama has another personal source. Using her sources to analyze and restrict her targets is most likely Mama's true strategy. Didn't I already tell you that I have this situation under control? And we have Isabella smiling as she's riding, and Crone walks in looking pretty indignant. I like Crone a lot too, the way I said last time, she reminds me a lot of Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, and she has this crazed ambition that causes all these crazy reaction faces. I love it. You are merely a precaution. I have just called you over as a safety measure, to guarantee that I will be able to protect the goods no matter what pops up next. Think about your own interests for a second. There's nothing else you can do other than to faithfully serve as my personal pawn. Am I wrong? There's no need for you to know who the targets are. All I need you to do is to dutifully follow my orders, whilst feeling good about yourself inside that you've gotten a hold of a weakness of mine. As long as you do as I say, I guarantee that you will land a position as Mama. And see, these two are two of my favorite characters. They're the bad guys, but I friggin' love the complexities in Isabella and Crone. Man, I friggin' love them. So, what do you think? How was their game of tag? And I love the reaction face sweating. It's our win, sister, she thinks back. They are all very special children. I see, so you finally understand. I finally found a way through her, she thinks back, and her face is getting more distorted. This woman, was all of that completely part of her plan? So again, Isabella might be even more completely powerfully intelligent than we thought, if not only is she playing the kids and having them screwed and pinned down until time runs out, but she also realized that Crone was going to use this chance to exploit her and try to get an up on her and to rise up in the ranks, but she's already played Crone by having her lose to the kids. My abilities and the true value of my children. You're a smart girl. I'm sure you figured out by now not to make any more mistakes from here on out, right? You are dismissed. And Crone is just completely devastated. Wait, and we cut back to Emma and Norman and Ray. No way. A source. Who? How many? And we have all the kids calling her name. Since when? Why? I can't believe it. There's one among them. They all just adore Mama. and someone who's trying to be a good boy or good girl is just accidentally giving her intel, yes, that's gotta be it. But what if, by chance, what Ray's been saying is true and there's a spy among those kids? I want to escape with everyone, she remembers herself saying. So in the end, it's impossible, she finally says. Huh? Oh, and is that a hallucination of, Connie touching her arm? And then she thinks of all the kids that they've lost. And she thinks of, or no, I think those are the future those are the future kids with Connie, all running into the mouths of the demon. No way. I definitely can't leave them here. Well then, what are we going to do now? We've definitely got to find this source. But what about our plans to involve Don and Gilda? If those two end up being Mama's sources, no problems. We discover a source and get Don and Gilda to join our side. It'll be 2 birds with 1 stone. If they happen to be the spies, we could turn them into our trump card. We'd control the information flow and derail the enemy. It wouldn't be impossible to turn this situation in our favor, says Ray. Yep, I've already laid out a net. And the other 2 look shocked. Norman, what are you doing? We were being completely naive. And he hit his fist against the tree. Okay. We have to change our ways, think of something new. And then we see him washing dishes, and he watches Crone talking to the kids. We have to take a fresh look at Mama's plans to protect Emma, set everyone free. Okay, so what's he been doing? I won't lose to Mama anymore. What the heck? Hey, break time's almost over. Let's start the second round soon, says Dawn. She's already in control, which is why she isn't making any moves, even though she knows who we are. Alright. Unless we make any bold moves, Mama probably has no intention of getting in the way of our planning or shipping us out early, huh? So basically, we only have a month and a half left, month and a half or so left before the next shipment day. It should be safe to assume that we have that much time left at the very least. Ray, how are things going with the plans to destroy the transmitters? Just fine. How much longer do you need? 2 weeks. Nah, 10 days maybe. Then, let's put things into action in 10 days of the cute panel of Emma. Alright. What? On November 8th, 10 days from today, we'll be executing our escape plan. And are those kids running by supposed to be sketchy spy people? Executing our escape plan. Only 10 days, wow. The fated day, suddenly set in stone. And we see the kids were playing with Gilda and Don. I am so confuzzled. It was a good chapter once again. The chapters are always really long with the series, and the art's really good. I wonder if that keeps up every week. Either way, how much battery do I have left on this camera? Ooh, not a ton. I'm going to make it through one more chapter, though, and then I'll probably have to take a break. So let's get through at least chapter 11 right here, and I think it was called Spy Part 1. Let's go. Mama has a spy among the children, Emma thinks. Who, and how many? Growing doubts. Anna, Nat, Toma, Lonnie, Mark, Don. What was his average score again, says Ray. Who? Okay, move past the translator page. Phil. I believe his most recent average was around 2 or 3 or so. Damn, that's high. In the last game of tag with Sister Crone, he was among the last 5 remaining kids. He's always looking for the 2 of you with Shelley. Where's Norman? Where's Emma? And then she's shocked. Ah, stop, you're scaring the wits out of me. You idiot. Learn to doubt people, even if you don't like it. We either live or die. The Promised Neverland. Listen, can you hear the sound of betrayal? Chapter 11, Spy, Part 1. And again, I like this, and I feel like it's more symbolism with, like, Emma facing us down forward, but the threat looms over her, being Isabella turned the other way, and all the kids are turned the other way as if to be part of her side. So I'm starting to realize more and more stuff put into this artwork. Thanks for the food. I'm still not convinced, says Ray. On November 8th, 10 days from today, we'll be executing our escape plan. Whoa, 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 whoa. Isn't that too much of a rush? Not that I mind, says Emma. I mind. You know, the net he threw out is interesting. What if he said that out loud where the kids could hear him? Because we see kids turn around with the question mark bubble, so the kids could hear him, so that if the word gets back to Mama, they don't actually plan to escape on November 8th. But her thinking that they're going to escape on November 8th is going to cause her to make a move. So that might be the net, is trying to make her make a false move, tricking her into thinking they're escaping sooner than they actually are. That is actually really smart, if that's if that's the case. Isn't that too much of a rush? Not that I mind. I mind, says Ray, cutting in. Mama's goal is to restrict us. That's why she won't take action until we do. Doesn't that mean we have time then? Yeah, that's exactly why. What do you mean, says Emma. If we're able to figure out that much, Mama definitely sees things that way as well. Our goal is to become unpredictable to her. Either way, it's also better for us if we make our escape before winter comes. Anyways, 10 days is plenty of time. We had no idea what Mama's next move would be, so we've been preparing at a very quick pace. All we have to do now is finish up those preparations within the next 10 days. Mama has no intention of hiding that she has a spy among us in the first place. She isn't necessarily making it obvious either, but... Okay, hold on. She isn't necessarily making it obvious either, but if she truly wanted to hide the fact from us, she would make the sister at least act like she's monitoring us, the eldest, or the three eldest. She's trying to trick us into thinking that we have time. As soon as we get rid of these transmitters, we have to get out of here right away. I get it, but isn't that realistically impossible? 10 days, I mean, come on. You'd think that, right? That's why it'll be the best time for us to make our move. It may be incredibly risky, but we have to get things done in 10 days, and the very first thing on our to-do list is to try to get Don and Gilda to join us. The smaller our teams are, the better chance each team has of survival. First, we'll get those two to join us. If they just so happen to end up being Mama's spies, we can figure out what to do from then and there. So, how are we going to break the news to them, though? We've got to word everything carefully, or else it'll all end up getting tossed to the side as some sort of sick joke by those two. Okay. Not everybody's going to just straight up believe everything believe everything you two say like I did, you hear? His eyes. Well, Emma and I were discussing this as well, but to sum it up, we won't tell them the truth, says Emma. What? You want to keep those two in the dark? We can't be responsible for putting them in danger. The hell? Mom isn't making any moves because she doesn't see any changes in our daily lives at the moment. But once we start to show that something's up, she might go straight for the early shipment option. I do want our escape to succeed, but in the event that it doesn't, says Norman, as long as those two don't know the real truth, their lives may just be spared. I don't care if they call me a liar. I don't care if they find out later and hold a grudge against me. If Mama ends up killing us all even before those demons start coming into the picture, that's the real game over. Now isn't the time to tell them the truth. Still, says Norman, it is quite difficult to try and come up with another scenario that'll get them pumped enough for this plan to work. The moment of truth is now. Thanks for waiting, guys. No problem, man, so what's up? Huh? Human trafficking? Yeah. All of our siblings that have left here so far have been sold off to these bad guys. That's their version of the revelation, huh? Thinks, Ray. And then Don laughs it off. I was worried you were going to tell us something really bad from the looks on your faces, but this? No friggin' way. Don, just think for a moment about the gate and the fence surrounding us, and how none of our siblings who have already left have sent us any letters. Good one, so what's the punchline? Is this the new the setting of a new game we're playing? And then he looks around as they're all silent. Huh? Whoa, hold up. Y'all are kidding, right? Nope, says Ray. Wait, so then, what about Mama? She's been the one who's selling our siblings off. What? Quit joking around. Drop it already. What the hell? There's no way. She's so nice. Emma, apologize now. Yeah, this is what we've been expecting right from the start, thinks Ray. Don. I don't think Emma would lie about something like this. She loves our family and Mama too much. Gilda. And also, I've been feeling like you've all been acting weird lately. That night, when Emma and Norman went to the gate and back. What? Usually you two would always come clean by telling the truth to Mama if you ever broke one of the house rules, and yet we just share the blame together. We'll just share the blame together later. She remembers when they were first leaving. Not only did you guys not apologize, but you both even told me to keep quiet about the fact that you all left. And then, soon after, Mama started making us all do chores as if we were getting punished for something bad. Emma kept disappearing somewhere, and you always seemed a lot more serious than usual, so it kept getting harder and harder to ask you what happened, and she starts crying. Oh, Gilda, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for making you worry so much. Emma, did you see Connie getting sold off to the bad guys? Yes, but we didn't make it in time, says Norman. Wait a minute. Could it be that Connie... She's okay, right? She's safe, right? We don't know. No. What the... says Don. Let's escape this house and save Connie. Let's all escape together. Let's all escape together, says Emma. I'm not sure if this will help us sound a little more credible, but these are the scores of all our siblings who left. Ray and I looked them up over the past few days. Scores, they say, looking at the sheet of paper. This is all second-hand information, and we don't know what happened to all the siblings who left. But it's clear that after the age of 6, they all left this place in score order, lowest to highest. Strange, isn't it? It's true. Connie, Hal, Seti. Please believe us. Help us. Run away with us. I'm glad that it worked out well. Hold on, I disagree, says Ray. We don't know. Save Connie? You both should have at least revealed her death. No, I think that was the best option we could have taken in order for things to go smoothly, says Norman. Well, I understand that it'll be harder for them to side with us if we told them that we had to escape into a world full of demons, but if they turn out not to be spies, those lies are too damn cruel. Stop giving them a hope that doesn't even exist. When are you going to tell them the truth? How? Can you do it? We'll figure it out when the time comes. And see, I like this, and Norman revealing that date as possibly a trap without telling Ray or Emma. It's like he's willing to even lie to Ray and Emma. He's willing to walk a dark path if it means saving them his way. Anyways, we still don't know whether those two are the traitors or not. That night, I had a long chat with Gilda for the first time in ages, and we see Emma and Gilda sitting on the bed talking. We laughed a lot, just like when we were little kids. I'm not alone. She understands me. I feel like Gilda and Norman have the two biggest death flags on them. She understands me. From now on, we can fight together. And we see her get up in the middle of the night and walk out of the room. Gilda, she thinks. And it's sad, because she was pretending to be asleep, and now she opens her eyes and thinks Gilda. After talking like that, Gilda's going to be the one betraying them all along. Once we break it to them, our next move is to figure out whether they are the spies or not. Let's try something first, says Norman. Try what? Telling them where the ropes are hidden. What? Of course we won't tell them where they're actually hidden, says Norman. We're going to feed Don and Gilda with 2 separate locations. I've already hidden some extra ropes in those places in case someone comes to check. If either one of them are the spy, they've successfully made it into our circle and can easily access new information, which means they'll be aching to tell Mama their findings as soon as possible. Who will make a move? Will we manage to successfully fool Mama? Either of them the spies? Sorry, hit my hand on my computer again. We'll be finding out soon. And we see a paper being slipped under the mom's door. And she smiles. And Gilda's going back to her room when a hand gets put on her shoulder. I've been waiting for you, Gilda, says Crone. Huh? Sister Crone's room, thinks Emma. Why those two? As for the exact fake locations of our ropes, we'll do this. Don, and Gilda too. I'll tell Don that the ropes are hidden under my bed. As for Gilda, I'll say they're located above the ceiling of the second floor bathroom, but in reality, I see. So there are ropes hidden around Norman's bed. So, Don was the one that betrayed them. It's interesting that he would even side with the mom after learning what they said to him about being sold off, unless she told him the truth. Not really the truth, but unless she said that they were planning something evil and that they'd try to trick them. There are a lot of ways that she could warp Don. So he's the one that's helping Isabella, and Gilda might be a tragic victim in all of this, because Emma's seen her going with Crone, so Emma might think she's the spy even if she's not, and she might get pinned down as the spy even if she's not, because Crone could possibly think that it's her when it's really, well, I mean, I guess she is part of this now technically, but when it really wasn't her to begin with. So there's a lot of bad things that could happen now, and I feel like most of the bad is going to come down on Gilda. She has the most death flags, like I said, along with Norman. But either way, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and save this so my camera doesn't die and erase all that I've recorded. And I'll read the next 2 chapters. I need to get to work on posting the 2 videos I recorded before this, and it's already getting a little late, so I think I'm going to record the next 2 chapters I don't want to wait until tomorrow to read the next 2, but I'm going to record the next 2 tomorrow morning and then post this video. So sorry it's a day late, but that's it for this so far, and I'll make a jump cut before going into chapter 12. Alright, I'm back. Well, I guess not thanks for waiting, because for you it hasn't been a wait. So it's been a good few hours since I recorded chapters 10 and 11, so now I'm back for 12 and 13, and so I'm going to keep this between chapter discussion short, since it is just one of my between chapter discussions or whatever. So not going to do a full recap since you just watched what we just saw and everything, but some things I've been thinking about. Isabella's plan's pretty foolproof. The only way that I see it going particularly terribly is if somebody like Crone is like, oh, I think I'm helping, and does something to completely mess it up thinking they're actually helping her. Or like one of the kids like Don, who is probably a spy. We've been given this information that leads us to believe that Don is the spy. We had the false information that was given to him by Norman falling into Isabella's hands. So that's to lead us to believe that he's the spy, but we could also just be being fooled by the mangaka who's trying to hit us with a twist. It also seemed like they were leading up to Gilda being the spy, but it seems as though that was really just sort of to hint at her knowing what was going on and being able to tell that there was something sketchy going on rather than her being the spy. Now, some problems that I've seen, though, is now we have Gilda being approached by Crone, and Emma sees it, so Emma probably thinks that she's the one who's the spy, even if she isn't, even if she's totally innocent. So if Emma suspects her, but it's really Don, then that could cause a lot of problems and infighting within the group, which is definitely the last thing they need right now. And that also brings me into thinking that with her spending time and laughing and talking and having fun with Gilda, I feel like Gilda has a whole hell of a lot of death flags, as does Norman. So those two are like the most on the chopping block that I'm the most worried about, because they seem to have the most death flags. And Norman, something I actually like for his character, we've been able to see it building slowly over the course of the first 10 or so chapters, but he started to make some decisions where I don't feel like, well, we can tell he's not being totally honest with Emma and all of his intentions and plans, and I also think not being very honest with Ray, and he's bringing the rest of them to not be honest to Gilda and Don. I feel like he's gone down this path of, I don't care what bad or evil thing I have to do, or like when he was thinking about killing them to buy them more time to escape, it feels like he's the one that's taking this dark path of, I don't care what we have to do to escape, I'm going to even do some evil or bad things if it means our success. So that's an interesting character turn for him that I think makes him much more of a dynamic character. But either way, those were just thoughts at the end of chapter 11 to move into chapter 12, so let's start reading chapter 12. We have Emma seeing Gilda with Crone approaching her now. But why? Gilda, there's a spy among us. If one of them is really the source, then they'll definitely rush to take action. Gilda is their source. Is this really happening? Were all those tears and smiles just an act? No way. Was everything a lie? Now then, come right in, says Crone. I'm so happy you came. And now, Promised Neverland, the translator page, hang on. The Promised Neverland, the middle of the night, in this prison called Neverland, within the darkness lies a traitor. Man, I really, though, I don't think Gilda's gonna be the traitor, but I think they're gonna think they are. I really like this, this cover. I see in a lot of the cover arts, the mangaka really likes drawing the moon. There's a moon in a few of them, and a lot of time-related things. I think we've seen a lot of stopwatch-looking things, clocks, like the clock tower-ish building behind Emma in this. This place looks kind of like a city, so it's kind of distorted. Part of it, actually, you know what? The front of this actually looks kind of similar to the Gracefield house, I believe it's called, and the walls on her sides look like the walls of the hallway, so it's like distorted, seeing the outside of the building in the background, then in the foreground is the inside of the building, leading to this dark, mysterious open door that Emma's walking toward, with her shadow being the foreboding image in front of her. I really like all the imagery they use in these covers, because the covers themselves tell kind of a story. I think that the artist who does the covers, the mangaka, really great. And actually, the mangaka, it says that the author is Kayu Shirai and the artist is Posca Demizu. So, at least Posca Demizu is definitely not a real name. That is totally a pen name. So, it's interesting. The art is actually by a different person that does the story. So that's really cool. I don't read many manga where that's the case. But the artist, you can tell there are certain things they like drawing, and I really like the story they tell with the covers. And I actually think that gives them more leeway to tell story with the covers and stuff, if they're not the ones that they can sort of delegate things to each other, and they don't have to write the story itself. So that's actually really cool. I didn't know it was written, or it was handled by two different people. So now we're moving on to the actual chapter again. We have Gilda entering the room, the door slams behind them. Emma walks up to the door. But why with sister? Can I? No, I can't see inside, and she's trying to look through the keyhole. I'm sure you figured out by now not to make any mistakes from here on out, Crone remembers. I refuse to change my plans halfway. That woman is clearly lying. And again, I like this, where Isabella is sort of a symbol of complete oppression and dominance. She's like, completely got them all trapped. Every time they think they're making a move, she's already a million steps ahead, and they can't get away from her. Whereas Crone is so totally different as a character. She's in the same kind of role as, like, in the story, she's one of the people trying to get them, like, in simplest terms, she's one of the people trying to keep them from escaping, but her character is just so different, where she's completely driven by this ambition to move up in the world, and she's stubborn and, like, won't really change plans, no matter how many times the kids sort of throw hints at her that would lead a normal person to think, okay, maybe my plan should change a little bit, or the way that Isabella confronted her, she still tries to go through with something that there's a lot of hints that say it won't really work. Only the eldest girls in the house are allowed to care for the toddlers. There's no such rule in this plantation. Isabella made up that rule on her own for this place. Okay. The one she wants to raise into the next mama is her livestock child. Not me, but that damn girl. And she thinks about Emma. And we have a flashback to her realization. It's all starting to piss me off. Emma, Isabella, Ray, Norman. I'm gonna catch all those kids by their tails and ship them all off in no time. Okay. I'll be returning this humiliation and loss with lots of interest. Oh, so this is actually interesting. She might now in order to further her ambition of taking over, she might go after Emma next, even if she thinks that Ray and Norman are the ones that are the real targets. Because if she gets rid of Emma, then that gets rid of Isabella's plan for the future, since Emma seems to be, at least in her opinion, and it's probably true, Emma is Isabella's sort of her failsafe, her way to get out and say, okay, we have the next mama raised up. That's why this girl will turn out to be useful. Now then, Gilda, go ahead and tell me. I can kind of hear them, but not every word. About that, says Gilda. That? What is she trying to... There's nothing troubling me at all, Gilda says. Man, Gilda's death flags are off the charts, though. Oh, man. I feel so bad. Huh? Let me know right away if there's anything worrying you. Look at you, putting on such a gloomy face again. I can't say it, since I've been told not to say a word. Come to my room tomorrow night. It doesn't matter what time, just come, got it? The new lady. Look, you're doing it again. So we've seen that she's been trying to get in close and play Gilda to get information out of her. Thank you very much for worrying about me and continuously checking up on me. A counseling session on her troubles. She's not the spy, Emma smiles all happy. But I'm fine now, so please leave me alone. Thank you again. I will be leaving now. Thank goodness, Gilda's an ally, not a spy. Man, this is so bad, though. I see. So Emma's told you everything, now hasn't she? And Crone's trying to catch her and make her slip, because she noticed before when she was in the woods she was able to make Emma hesitate. Gilda, you found out about everything now, haven't you? And I love the looks of crazed ambition in Crone's face are always so great. What? She's seen through me, what should I do? Norman even warned me. Both Mama and the sister are enemies. Make sure not to let them realize that you know their secrets. Was I not cautious enough? But I'm fine now. Which part did I... No, it's a bluff, thinks Emma. Sister's just trying to trick her into talking. Oh, Gilda, what a shame. I really thought that we could become the best of friends. What happens now that I've been found out? Am I immediately sold off to the bad guys? Does anyone else know? Norman, Ray, and... Or wait, I think Gilda says Norman and Ray. And then Crone says, and... Come on, Gilda, realize. I'll make sure to let you off the hook, so come along. Let's get along and work together. And Gilda is just scared shitless, and Emma's, again, afraid that she's going to spill the beans. Or I think that could have been Crone just saying Norman and Ray, trying to goad her into saying more, but I'm just not sure. I think it was Crone talking, though. Please stop it, says Gilda, pushing away from her. I have no idea what you're talking about. It was just a fight between me and Emma, but we've already made up, so there's nothing to worry about anymore. I see. Then I suppose it was my mistake. I'm sorry. And Emma looks relieved. But Crone leans down and whispers in her ear, Good night. See you later, Gilda. What if Crone told her the actual real truth, and that is going to turn her against Emma and them because they lied about the monsters and all? And then Gilda walks out. Wait, Emma, this isn't what it looks. And Emma hugs her. Thank goodness, Gilda. I'm so sorry for doubting you. Emma, she thinks. Emma, and she starts crying. And then she remembers what Magne told her and her eyes get wide. Or, not Magne, Crone. If you ever start to feel that Emma's lying to you, come right back to talk to me. That child is most likely not one of the targets, but she's definitely a useful card that knows something's up. I really wanted to keep her in the palm of my hand, even if I had to be a little aggressive about it, but no matter. I've spread the seeds. Next up is... And now we're going on to the next day. Aw, the girl with the braids is cute. I just see all these cute little kids and I'm like, please don't kill them off. Please. But deep in my heart I know we're probably going to see more of them die, because we've seen from the very beginning that either A, they're not afraid to kill the characters even if they're kids, they're just going to slaughter off whoever they want. Or B, it's possible that they were just going to do the one big death, and other than that, we're not going to have that many deaths. But I kind of see the former being more likely. I kind of see us having a lot of deaths. I I don't see us getting away with just the one at the beginning. Hey, did you see that this morning? Says Ray. Alright. What the hell is Crone doing? Sister Crone was staring really hard at the floor of the storage room. What the hell? Yeah, I heard from Emma. It's an action that would be taken when trying to find the target, so she's opposing Mama's control. It's just like I thought. Sister is moving independently from Mama. But now, this is a spat between Mama and Sister, is this spat between Mama and Sister something to be happy about? Or should we be sighing in annoyance? I think it's very much a good thing, because they can play them against each other if they're smart enough. Okay, moving along. Oh, by the way, the footprints are of no use as evidence. They won't prove anything. The slippers are the same size for all the older kids, and I also walked around a lot despite the little time we had, so that you can't even tell what I was searching for. Well, if footprints are no good, then she'll just come at us with something else. The question is, why is the sister moving independently and trying to find the targets? Depending on her objective and methods, we cannot rule her out as a mere annoyance, says Norman. Huh? Where's Don? Says Emma. Oh, come to think of it, I haven't seen him for a while now. Gilda's clean, says Norman. Hey Ray, why do you think spies do their jobs? Well, isn't that obvious? Because there's some sort of benefit to be had from doing so, don't you think? For example, they could be offered a chance to escape being shipped off and granted an opportunity to grow up and become an adult. And then Norman looks a bit surprised. Guaranteed safety for one's own life. Huh. And now we have Emma playing tag with the kids in groups again. I see now. This was all meant to train us before the escape, huh? Says Don. This is not good. What if Don is gonna relay all this back to Isabella? And again, they just said there has to be a reason for him doing it, but I don't see why Don would. He doesn't seem like that, we don't know too much about his character, but he doesn't seem like the type that would be that conniving to save his own life like that. And now it's night again. 1, 2, 3, and Emma's walking around. Emma, do you have a moment? I'd like to ask your opinion on something. What if there was a child that intentionally became a pawn of the demons? What if that child was ensured their own life by acting as a spy for them? Would you leave that child behind, or would you take them with you? So you're saying that if they acted as a spy, they'd be able to live on without getting shipped off, says Emma. And then she thinks, I'd take them with us. And Norman looks shocked. Even if that person doesn't wish for it, yep, I'd drag them if I had to. Because if we run away, there's no guarantee that child's life will be spared. And besides, I see. Yeah, that's right, he says, cutting her off. I knew you'd say that, Emma. And he smiles. Then he goes back to his room. What's it look like, says Ray. It's not there. Seriously? I'm gonna go check the bathroom. Already checked there. The rope hung in the ceiling of the bathroom was still there. The extra ropes. So, again, this is kind of a weird move on Isabella's part, because you would think that she'd be like, I'm gonna let him keep the ropes, let him think they're safe, let him think their plan's okay. Because just taking the ropes would either be A, to send a message to them and let them know because she's so far ahead, and maybe she's even letting them know, hey, Don's the spy, because she's playing them somehow through that. But it seems weird that even if she knew they were there, that she would take them, because that tips off that she knew they were there. Unless she has a plan for it. Then, I guess that's settled, says Ray. We're going to feed Don and Gilda with 2 separate locations for the extra ropes. I'll tell Don that the ropes are hidden under my bed. For Gilda, I'll say they're above the ceiling of the 2nd floor bathroom. And now, only the ropes under my bed have disappeared. The source of information. No. The spy. Was you, wasn't it, Ray? And then... That's weird, but sadly, do you remember way back at the very beginning, like chapter 2 or 3, when I was like, what if Ray is really the spy? I don't think it's true. I think he might be testing him, because Norman's going a little bit far here, down the dark path, but I don't know. I said before that I could see it coming, that he could possibly be the, he could possibly be the one that was meant to be the next Mama, though we don't know if a guy can take that job or not yet. But still. The prison break takes a sudden turn. The flow of fate reverses. So this is interesting. Okay? Let's get to chapter 13 and see what happens here. The source of information, no. The truth and beyond. The spy was you, wasn't it, Ray? And then Ray looks shocked. And Norman is completely stoic. Ray smiles. And of course he's probably going to deny it. Like, what are you doing joking around like this? Now we have Chapter 13, Spy Part 3. Oh, so maybe it is actually him. Again, this cover, it's a classic Puppet Master type cover, where you have the big bad and then the smaller bads below them. And I like that, again, with the smaller ones, we have the further back seeming one turned back is Isabel, because she's not being directly involved. She's playing the parts indirectly, and she's above Crone, whereas Crone's facing towards us doing her own thing, and then immediately facing front is the smallest of the bads, Ray, who is also closest to the characters. So again, I like that, from seeing more art and stuff and watching other people analyze different shows and manga, I'm starting to catch on to more of this symbolic stuff. And also with me catching on to more of it, I think I can appreciate stuff like these covers a lot more. Betrayal always lurks close by. So I wonder if it is actually him. What are you saying, Norman? You should understand the situation already. It didn't just stop at 2 traps. And then Ray looks at him. I'll tell Don that the ropes are hidden underneath my bed. For Gilda, I'll say they're above the ceiling of the 2nd floor bathroom. That's what I told you and Emma. But in reality, I told Don they were in the dining room and told Gilda they were in the library. Just now, I went around to recollect all the extra ropes. The only ones that were gone were the ones under my bed. That just means that Don was merely framed. Oh wow. See, he is lying to those 2, and it was actually smart of him to do so. Ray, you are the source. And then Ray flops back on the bed. Kuh. And he starts laughing. Man, just when I thought things were going as planned. You're quite the softy, so I assumed that I could get away with deceiving you guys for a little longer. But it seems like you found me out a lot faster than I had anticipated, he says. You're right. I'm Mama's spy. And we have flashbacks to him passing her the note. Since when did you suspect me? Ever since the night Sister Crone came here. That night. Right away, huh? And then Norman smiles. Honestly, I was sickened at my own self for suspecting you first and foremost, despite our tight friendship. Still, you being the informant would be a worst-case scenario for us. From the enemy standpoint, you being the informant would be a best-case scenario. You'd be able to influence the plans. It'd be perfect if their objective was to control the situation. There's nobody more suitable for this position. Am I wrong? That's why I suspected you. Huh. I truly hoped I was wrong. It was the worst imaginable situation possible. And while we're at it, Ray, you've been a source for Mama for a long time, haven't you? And we have more flashbacks to him handing her notes. Norman and Emma, KNE something, knew, probably. Norman and Emma knew. It's Norman and Emma. There's no way that Mama would trust a sudden secret report or an impromptu spy. This at least proves that Ray was already a spy that day. And we have things going back to when they first told him. Alright? And then him relaying that information. Oh, and of course that's why she looks at the tree and she sees that 3 dots are missing, and she knows that it's the 3 of them gone. Alright, so now all that makes sense. On that very first day, Mama had already made Ray dive into identify who we were. So, since when have you been Mama's spy? Since a long time ago. And then Ray looks surprised, and they were little kids in that flashback. You weren't only her spy, but also her underling. Observation, security, the growth rates of the merchandise. Mama was already controlling us livestock to begin with, but was also using Ray as a device to lead us in a direction she wanted from within. Exactly. You could see me as the sheepdog of the sheepdog of the shepherd, acting as if everything was fine, acting as if you were one of us sheep. This whole time, all these years. You'd better be the only spy and source she has, says Norman. I am. You supported Mama despite knowing everything. Yep. Was everything a lie? And we have more flashbacks behind the two of them staring each other down. There's no end to the things I want to ask you. But one thing first. How much did you tell Mama? You can really destroy the transmitters, right? Or wait. Hold on, what? Yeah. Why would you ask me? Would you cut me from the plan depending on my answer? I won't. I'd have you around us just like before. I can control them through Ray. If Mama thinking that is the reason why we aren't being shipped off right off the bat, cutting you off would simply be too dangerous for us. Aren't you glad? You can cover up your blunder now. Weren't you so desperate to keep spying on us that you had to shift all the suspicion to Don? What do you want? 3 things. 1. Stay right beside us to guarantee our safety. 2. Disclose all the information you have to us. 3. Double-cross Mama. And again, that was their plan from the beginning, was to find whoever the spy was and bring them to their side. Become my spy this time. And he thinks back into, Ray is again thinking back to what I just said, where Norman's plan all along was to bring the spy to their side. Are you stupid? If this was your goal from the start, then you should have just stayed quiet and used me. It was a dumb move to resort to things like blackmail and bargaining when you didn't even need to in the first place. Keeping the source in the dark and cutting them off once it's time to skedaddle was the best option you could have taken. Oh, I know, he says. I'd like to take them with us, he thinks back to Emma, because if we run away, there's no guarantee that the child's life will be spared. And besides, I still want to believe in them. The incident with Gilda really reaffirmed my feelings. Ray told us to suspect people more, and I couldn't say anything back since he was all like, but you couldn't even see through Mama's lies. But even if there were to be a demon source among us, I don't think any of our siblings could possibly be evil at heart. And that's also smart, because even if someone is the demon source, even though Ray is their source, there's no guarantee of his life. Even if they're telling him they'll guarantee his life, they still could kill him off just like the rest of them. After all, we all grew up together. Even if they get in our way, betray us, or tell me that I'm naive, I still want to have faith in them. But I've changed my mind. I also want to believe in you, Ray. That you'd put our friendship before your own goals as an enemy. Anyways, there's been another thing that's been bothering me a bit. You were the one who hid little Bernie, weren't you? For our sake. Okay. You were the one that set this whole prison break in motion, weren't you? And now we have a flashback to him taking Bernie from Connie, that was her name, from Connie, and she runs off. He looks at the rabbit. It's not hard to manipulate Connie, even more so for you since you were in a room. If Emma hadn't discovered little Bernie in the dining room where you placed him, you were planning to point him out to her anyway, weren't you? Connie's probably still around, says Ray. Oh, and we have a flashback. If you hadn't said that, we would have never headed to the gate in the first place. You planned it so that we would find out the truth by ourselves. The truth, the big secret of this house. You wouldn't have done so if you were 100% loyal to Mama. You also did your best to keep us under control. You consistently tweaked our plans for the better in subtle ways, from the inside, but just enough that you wouldn't be going against Mama's orders. So, I like this. Maybe Ray was actually the good guy all along. He was the one, they thought they were planning the prison break, but he was the one manipulating their prison break the entire time. Okay. At the same time, you also made sure to keep Mama in check. As much as you could with your position as her source, we made sure to do everything you can to prevent us from getting shipped off right away. Good news. They plan to take all the kids with them, he tells Isabella. They won't be able to leave, as long as you have one of the kids in your arms at all times. Heck, you haven't even told her where the real ropes are hidden, so it's hard to tell from where they'll be running. I'll keep on the lookout, he says. Okay, that's a good point too. He told him the fake ropes to pretend he's being a spy, but he never said anything about the real ones. Okay. Why would you give us a chance if you were truly our enemy? Why would you go against Mama's will like this? You really aren't an enemy, are you? You haven't actually disclosed any information that would critically disadvantage us. You're also ready to destroy the transmitters in no time. Am I wrong? An enemy or an ally? Ray, tell me, why exactly are you working for Mama? So, again, I like this, and I think that's I think it's actually a good place to end, because now we see that he was the spy, but in truth, he was the one that was kind of setting this prison break in motion to begin with. Because if he didn't care about them, he wouldn't have had them see that for themselves, because they would have just got shipped off without ever knowing anything. So it's clear he did that to save them at least. And if he planned to save them, he wouldn't just halfway do it. He wouldn't just let them know what was going on and then cuck them by saying, nope, now you can't escape now that you know what's going on. He would just be putting more danger on himself and the system. And I think, again, it benefits him, because like I said before, even if the demons are promising him, oh, you'll get to live and you'll get to be the next shepherd, you'll get to be the next mama, if you help us do this, there's no guarantee they're telling him the truth. They won't just kill him. So if anything, he may even be using them to help himself escape, which in turn helps them escape. So it all works out. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that he is a good or bad guy in this situation. I think that both him being a spy and him planning the prison break both benefit him. They're both things that could possibly keep him alive, and it's clear that he cares about at least Ray and Emma, since they're the closest ones to him, and he wants to keep them alive, even if he's taking a dark path by being the spy, just as Norman's taking the dark path by lying to his own allies, and, I mean, kind of doing basically the same thing, but on a different side. Lying to his allies and planning to kill people, even if they are sort of pretty bad people. They're selling them off to be eaten. So, this is a really cool place to end, I think. I love the way that there's so much to think about in the series. And in 2 more weeks, I'll do 14, 15, 16, and 17. So, I'm sorry if 2 weeks seems like... my headphones just fell. Sorry if it seems like kind of a long time between videos, but I guess 2 weeks really isn't that bad. I don't know. I couldn't do it more often than this. But either way, sorry if 2 weeks is kind of a long time, but I feel like we'll be catching up in basically no time at this rate. I mean, 4 chapters every video is pretty quick, considering I think there's only like 70 some chapters out so far. So we'll catch up before you know it. But either way, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this week's read through, what you thought of my thoughts on these 4 chapters, what you thought of the chapters yourself and all that. Subscribe for more. The Promised Neverland, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, then just ask and I'll give you a link to Discord. Either way, that is it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.